We decided to focus on Virginia Studies 3, which states the student will demonstrate an understanding of the first permanent English settlement in America by explaining the reasons for English colonization, identifying the importance of the arrival of Africans and English women to the Jamestown settlement, describing hardships faced by settlers at Jamestown, and describing the interactions between the English settlers and the native peoples.
Our first essential question is, what were the reasons for English colonization in America? We thought it was important for students to understand how we came to be. They need to understand the reasons colonists left and how that had an impact on our lives today. To help with understanding of this question, we found books from various perspectives of English colonization.
The Jamestown Storybook by Carol Marsh offers the story of Jamestown from multiple perspectives. It is structured as a chapter book, with each chapter focusing on a different aspect of Jamestown's settlement.
The other book we chose is Tattered Sails by Verla Kay. This book is about three siblings and their parents' journey to the New World. It talks about the reasons they left London and the hardships they faced on their way over and as they begin settling.
Finally, we thought it would be cool for students to participate in a sort of simulation in which they could play the role of a colonist. After doing that, they could participate in a discussion that is focused on the question, would you leave England to colonize in America? Why or why not?
Our next essential question is, how did the arrival of Africans and women to Jamestown impact its colonization? We thought this was important for students to demonstrate an understanding that many people played a role in the settlement of Jamestown. It wouldn't have been the same without the contribution of women and Africans.
To help with understanding of this big idea, we found books that offer multiple perspectives of the contributions of women on the settlement of Jamestown. Dark Enough to See the Stars in a Jamestown Sky by Connie Lopalo tells a story about Joan, a woman who left her children to go to Jamestown. The book discusses her story about surviving the hardships that Jamestown faced.
When the Moon Has No More Silver by Connie Lopalo tells the story of women who survived a hurricane at sea, the starving time and Indian wars. This book is the second book in the Jamestown Sky series and also follows the life of Joan.
We couldn't find any books that talked about the contribution of Africans to the Jamestown settlement, so to address this part of the SOL, we thought we could find case studies that are focused on the perspective of Africans. The students could read the case studies and could discuss their importance and how Jamestown would have been different without their contributions.
Our third essential question asks, what was it really like for the settlers of Jamestown? It's important for students to demonstrate an understanding that life in Jamestown was pretty tough. The students will be putting themselves in the shoes of Jamestown settlers to understand the actions and feelings of the settlers.
To help with understanding of this question, we are going to have the students respond to the following question by writing a journal entry. Do you think you would be able to survive Jamestown? Why or why not?
We also have a wide variety of books that offer multiple perspectives of the life of Jamestown settlers. Surviving Jamestown by Gail Langer tells a realistic story of Sam Collier, a child on a voyage to the New World. It talks about the challenges he faces as he is traveling and settling in Virginia.
The Jamestown Colony by Gail Werland contains information about the settlement of the Jamestown Colony and even includes a timeline of Jamestown settlement, internet sites for more research, and places students could visit if they have more interests.
The Jamestown Storybook by Carol Marsh could also be used here.
My America, The Starving Time by Patricia Herms tells the story of a girl named Elizabeth as she faces hard times during the colony's daily struggles for survival. It offers students the perspective of the hardships the settlers face from the perspective of someone like them.
Finally, our last essential question asks the students, how were the interactions between the English settlers and the native peoples positive? How are they negative? We thought it was important to allow students to see the multiple perspectives of Jamestown settlement. They should understand that settling Jamestown wasn't quite as positive as traditional textbooks make it out to seem.
We thought it would be cool to start with a writing exercise with the prompt, you woke up one morning and saw spaceships filling up the sky. How would you feel? This gets them thinking about how the native peoples felt when the Jamestown settlers invaded their land.
Encounter by Jane Yolen tells a story from the perspective of a native person as English colonists come to the New World for the first time.
John Smith Escapes Again by Rosalind Shanzer tells a story of Jamestown settlement through the perspective of John Smith. It highlights various stories of John Smith throughout the settlement process, including reasons for English settlers wanted to leave, how they ended up settling Jamestown, and the relationship settlers had with the Powhatan Indians.
The Jamestown Storybook by Carol Marsh can be used again here. It contains a chapter focused on the Powhatan Indians and their relations with the settlers.
The True Story of Pocahontas by Lucille Penner tells the true story of Pocahontas and includes information about her adventures during the settlement of Jamestown.